Hi, I'm Toby from abletondrummer.com, and I quickly want to show you how you can use any MIDI controller to send stuff to your gear, to outboard gear, like piano sounds, switching piano sounds, turning on off effects, etc. if your external gear is capable of that, obviously. So what is happening? Well, you sometimes have MIDI controllers which are able to send MIDI notes or MIDI CC messages, but sometimes they are not able to send program changes, or the editor for those things is only working on Windows, or there is only third-party software for doing that. So I created a pack of 7 Max for Live devices where you can send in MIDI notes or MIDI CC or program changes and convert those messages to MIDI notes, MIDI CC, or program changes. Okay, so let me give you one example. Let's say I have this controller here, which is sending MIDI notes via those buttons here, and I want to control a certain instrument on my electronic keyboard, my electronic piano here. So I'm actually sending in MIDI notes. So I have a MIDI monitor device here, so we can see if I'm now pressing this, I'm getting this MIDI note pitch in here. So the MIDI monitor is available as well. I will put a link in the video description here. So I now want to convert this MIDI note to a program change, because let's say my keyboard here is only listening to program changes to select a different instrument or a different preset on here. So what I can do now is I can use the change MIDI notes to program change device. So I only need to switch on the first row here. So now when I'm pressing this, you can see it's not reacting because I need to map the incoming MIDI note pitch here. So I can quickly do that via pressing S, and then it's waiting for the next MIDI note to come in. So if I press this one now, we can see here D#-1 is coming in, and I can now set a program change, a message I want to send. So let's set this maybe to 4. And now what's happening if I send in this button here, or I'm pressing this button here, MIDI note is being generated, D#-1. I can see that in the first monitor, on and off message here, and the on message is the one which is getting converted here to a program change. Okay, so setting this up is quite easy. Obviously, you need to make sure that all your incoming MIDI devices are turned on in the Ableton Live preferences. So under in, you want to send MIDI into a track. So what you need to make sure, like my X-Touch Mini here, the in for track needs to be turned on. And for my SL Studio, which is actually not making a sound, but let's pretend this thing has a sound in here and will receive stuff from the track. So the track out needs to be switched on here as well. And then the next one would be, I would need to select the X-Touch Mini as my MIDI input here. I would need to set the monitor to in, or I could as well record stuff here, or set this to auto, monitor to auto, and arm the track. As I don't want to record anything, it's much safer to set it to in. And then the MIDI 2, I would need to set it to the keyboard and to the right channel, this keyboard or this electronic piano with receiving stuff. So now I could easily set up multiple buttons here, and just making sure that I have the right program change being selected here. Okay, so there are obviously a few more complex message needs to be received on for example, electronic pianos, or if you have whatever outboard gear which is receiving MIDI. So sometimes you want to create not only a simple program change, you might want to send a bank, a sub, and a program change. If you have multiple banks and sub banks on here, you can do this with the change MIDI note to bank sub program change. And now if you say, well, actually I have some effects on here which are listening to MIDI CC, continuous control data, and a certain value needs to be sent to maybe turn on the reverb or something like that. I have more devices for that here. So for example, I have a MIDI note to CC value. So for example, if my reverb on my outboard gear is listening to the CC number 26 and 127 would be the value, would maybe turn it on. And if I would have another one sending on 26 as well, but this time I want this to be turned off, want the reverb to be turned off. Let's get rid of those devices here at the front because they're gonna change MIDI stuff in here. So let's quickly set this up. So let's say the reverb or an effect will listen to CC26 and the value 127 to turn stuff on, and CC26 value 0 to turn stuff off. So now what I need to do is I need to learn those different fields here. So I press S, and now I'm sending out those two different values always when I'm pressing one of those two buttons. So this one is like turning a reverb on, turning a reverb off. So this way you are able to set up like every, or not every, but a lot, like I would guess like 90%, 95% maybe even of MIDI controllers who are sending stuff in to change those MIDI messages to send it out to with the exact value you need. So as I said, there are 7 Max for Live devices in this pack, so you are able to use program change as well. If you have a controller which is sending program changes, you can set this to send notes. That would this device here, program change to notes, or program change to CC values, or MIDI CC to convert a MIDI CC signal to notes. And as well, the last one, the 7th one, is MIDI CC to program changes as well. So 7 devices, quick and easy to set up. Those are Max for Live devices. Max for Live is included in Ableton Live Suite, or can be bought as an add-on towards Ableton Live Standard. You can as well always get the free trial for 3 months to check stuff out if you don't have Ableton Live Suite yet and want to check it out. So this MIDI convert MIDI messages pack is available now. You find the link in the video description and a link to find more info about it as well. Take care, bye.